The money narrative. Money is far more than just a medium of exchange or numbers on a screen. It exists as a profound, collective story we all participate in, whether consciously or not. From the earliest forms of bartering to today's complex financial instruments, humanity has woven elaborate narratives around value, scarcity, and prosperity. These stories, passed down through generations, shape our understanding of what money represents. Consider the pervasive tales. Money is the ultimate liberator, offering freedom and opportunity, or money is a corrupting force, breeding greed and inequality. We tell ourselves that hard work guarantees wealth, that saving is prudent, that debt is a burden. These aren't just economic principles, they are cultural scripts, deeply embedded beliefs that dictate our financial decisions, influence our social status, and even define our moral compass. Societies construct elaborate frameworks based on these narratives. They determine who deserves wealth, who should receive assistance, and what constitutes a fair exchange. The digital age has amplified this. Money has become more abstract, less tangible, yet its narrative power has only intensified. It fuels advertising, drives political discourse, and sculpts our personal aspirations. Every transaction, every investment, every economic policy choice is ultimately filtered through this shared, evolving story. We must ask, are we merely living out a predetermined plot, or can we begin to write our own? Debt, the two sides of debt. For many, the word itself conjures images of struggle, a weight pressing down. It tests the unpaid credit card bill, the looming student loan, the mortgage that feels like an endless climb. This negative perception is deeply rooted, and for good reason. High interest rates can quickly transform a small loan into an insurmountable mountain, trapping individuals and families in a cycle of payments that never seem to shrink the principal. Predatory lending practices exploit vulnerability, turning a temporary need for cash into a long-term financial prison. This side of debt is a very real burden, eroding financial freedom and fueling anxiety. But what if we considered debt not just as a burden, but also as a powerful financial instrument? On the other side of the coin, debt functions as a catalyst for growth and opportunity. Think of a mortgage. It allows families to purchase a home, building equity and stability over time. Student loans, while often criticized, provide access to education that can significantly increase earning potential. Businesses rely on debt loans for equipment, expansion, or innovation to scale operations, create jobs, and drive economic progress. Without access to capital through borrowing, many of the advancements we take for granted would simply not exist. The critical distinction lies not in debt itself, but in its application. Is it consumption-driven, fueling a temporary desire with long-term cost? Or is it an investment, a strategic lever used to acquire assets or skills that generate future value? Understanding this difference is key to navigating the complex landscape of personal and national finance, and perhaps even to reshaping our fundamental relationship with borrowing. Savings vs inflation. Many of us work hard, make responsible choices, and put money aside. We envision that saved cash growing, securing our future, or funding a dream purchase. This impulse to save is fundamental to financial stability. But there is an invisible force constantly at work against your stored wealth, inflation. Simply put, inflation means your money loses purchasing power over time. The same $20 bill that bought you a substantial grocery haul a decade ago can barely cover a few items today. Prices rise not because goods are inherently more valuable, but because the currency itself can buy less. Consider the money sitting in the basic savings account. While the numerical value might remain constant, or even tick up slightly with minimal interest, it can actually purchase is quietly eroding. If inflation runs at 3% annually, your cash effectively shrinks by 3% each year. This isn't a hypothetical threat, it's a measurable decline in your financial power. For decades, families tucked money under mattresses or relied solely on low-interest accounts, believing they were building security. But in an inflationary environment, such strategies are akin to trying to fill a bucket with a hole in the bottom. The water level of your purchasing power steadily drops. Understanding this dynamic is crucial, as it fundamentally shifts how we approach saving for tomorrow. The budget trap. Many of us, at some point, sit down with good intentions, mapping out our finances. We categorize income, list every expense, from rent to streaming subscriptions. On paper, the numbers align. There is a plan, a clear path forward, a promise of financial control. This is the moment most people feel a surge of optimism, believing they've finally cracked the code to managing their money. Yet, for a significant number, this meticulously crafted budget doesn't deliver the promised peace. Instead, it becomes a source of unexpected stress, a rigid set of rules constantly being broken. The issue often isn't the absence of a budget, but the nature of it. We build these systems as if our lives operate on fixed, predictable tracks. Life, however, rarely cooperates. An unexpected dental bill, a spontaneous weekend trip, or simply the desire for a well-deserved treat can instantly derail the most disciplined plan. When these deviations occur, the budget, initially a tool for empowerment, transforms into a symbol of failure. People feel like they are letting the budget down, rather than the budget failing to adapt to their real lives. This constant struggle with an inflexible framework can lead to burnout, fostering a cycle of self-blame and eventually, the complete abandonment of the very tool meant to help. The trap isn't in spending too much, but in creating a system that cannot account for human nature with the unpredictable flow of existence. Money and well-being. For centuries, we've grappled with money's role in a good life. It is an old question: can money buy happiness? The answer, as with most complex things, isn't a simple yes or no. Certainly, a lack of money brings profound suffering. Financial insecurity creates a relentless stress. It limits choices, impacts health, and strains relationships. Meeting basic needs, food, shelter, safety profoundly affects well-being. Without a stable income, life becomes a constant struggle, chipping away at peace of mind and the ability to plan for the future. However, once fundamental needs are met, the picture changes. Research suggests a satisfaction plateau. Beyond a certain income level, typically enough to live comfortably in your region, more money doesn't significantly boost day-to-day happiness. The initial surge of relief and improved security plateaus. We adapt. New possessions quickly become the new normal. This implies the link isn't just about the dollar amount. It is about what money * enables *. It offers security, which reduces anxiety. It can buy time, freeing us from relentless work. It allows for experiences, supports personal growth, or lets us contribute to causes we care about. These are the elements that genuinely enrich life. The pursuit of more wealth, if it means sacrificing relationships or health, often comes at a cost, seeing money not as a destination, but a powerful, morally neutral tool. How we choose to wield it ultimately shapes its impact on our well-being. Retirement redefined. For generations, retirement painted a clear, almost universal picture, a definitive end to work, replaced by leisure and a reliance on accumulated savings. It was a fixed destination, often tied to a specific age, marking a complete departure from the professional world. But that image is rapidly fading. The very concept of retirement is undergoing a profound transformation, driven by a confluence of factors. People are living longer, healthier lives than ever before, pushing the traditional finish line further into the distance. Economic realities also play a significant role. A longer retirement period demands substantially more savings, a challenge many find daunting amidst rising costs. These shifts are prompting a fundamental re-evaluation. Increasingly, individuals see retirement not as an exit, but a pivot, a chance to redefine purpose and engagement. We now observe a spectrum of new approaches. Some transition into part-time consulting, leveraging decades of expertise on their own terms. Others launch passion-driven side businesses, turning long-held hobbies into income streams. Many dedicate time to community work, finding fulfillment in contributing without the pressures of full-time employment. This often manifests as phased retirement, a gradual downshift rather than an abrupt stop. It allows individuals to maintain income, social connections, and a vital sense of purpose, easing the psychological transition that a sudden cessation of work can bring. The question is no longer simply when to stop working, but how to continue living a meaningful, engaged life as the world changes around us. Investing for everyone. For generations, investing felt like an exclusive club, a world of intricate charts, whispered tips, and high-stakes dealings reserved for the wealthy or those with a finance degree. Many believed you needed significant capital to even begin, or that the risks were too complex for the average person to navigate. This perception, while understandable given historical barriers, is largely outdated. Today, the landscape of personal finance has fundamentally shifted, opening doors that were once firmly shut to most. You no longer need a large sum of money to start building your financial future. The power of consistent, even modest, contributions, combined with the magic of compounding, can small beginnings into substantial assets over time. Think of it as planting a seed. It needs regular care, but eventually, it grows into something much larger than its initial form. Modern platforms and accessible investment vehicles now allow anyone, regardless of income, to become an owner in some of the world's largest companies or diversified portfolios with just a few dollars. Tools like low-cost index funds and exchange-traded funds, or ACT, have democratized access to broad market growth. These vehicles offer robust diversification, spreading your risk across many different companies and sectors, without requiring deep market research from you. It is about participating actively in the global economy, allowing your money to work for you, rather than letting it sit idly by. Understanding these fundamental shifts empowers you to take control of your financial narrative and begin reshaping your future security. Financial advice. Who benefits? When we seek financial advice, the hope is clear: to grow our wealth, secure our future. But behind every recommendation, every investment product suggested, lies a subtle yet critical question: who truly stands to gain? For decades, much of the financial industry operated on what is known as a commission model. An advisor might recommend a specific mutual fund, an annuity, or an insurance policy. For each sale, they received a percentage. This structure inherently creates a conflict of interest. Is the product truly the best fit for ** specific goals, or is it simply the best earner for * the * compensation package? Regulations have worked to push for greater transparency, leading to the rise of fiduciary advisors. These professionals are legally bound to act in their client's best interest, typically charging a flat fee or an hourly rate for their time and expertise, not for selling specific products. Their incentive aligns more closely with yours. Your financial success directly reflects on their value and reputation. However, this doesn't mean the old model has vanished. Many large institutions, like banks and brokerage firms, still employ advisors who operate under a suitability standard, meaning the product only needs to be * suitable * for you, not necessarily the * best * option. These firms often promote their own proprietary funds or encourage frequent trading that generates transaction fees. Even the explosion of online financial content, while democratizing information, introduces new layers of motivation, from affiliate links to sponsored posts. Understanding who profits from the advice you consume is not just a matter of curiosity. It becomes fundamental to protecting your own financial well-being. It forces us to scrutinize every piece of guidance and ask, are we building wealth for ourselves, or for someone else's bottom line? Passive income truth. The idea of passive income often conjures images of money flowing in effortlessly, a true financial stream while you sleep. But the reality is far more nuanced, often requiring a significant, deliberate effort long before the first dollar arrives without your direct, active input. Consider common examples: a digital product like an online course, an ebook, or a custom software application. Creating any of these demands countless hours of research, design, and development. You pour expertise, time, and often capital into its construction, meticulously refining content, solving complex technical hurdles, and strategically marketing its launch. This initial phase is intensely active, consuming resources, not generating them, pushing the boundaries of your commitment. Even after launch, these systems rarely run themselves entirely. An online course needs regular updates to remain relevant in a changing field. An ebook might require ongoing promotional pushes or new additions to maintain visibility. A software application needs bug fixes, security patches, and attentive customer support. It is less about a perpetual motion machine and more about building a robust engine that, once built, requires periodic tuning, maintenance, and fuel to keep running. The passive component emerges when the system you've engineered continues to generate income without your constant, direct daily labor. This now comes strategic planning and substantial upfront hard work, not an escape from it. True passive income isn't a shortcut to wealth, it is a commitment to building valuable assets that sustain themselves over time. The question then becomes, what kind of asset are you willing to build, and what level of effort will you commit? The work until 65 myth. The idea that we all work until age 65, then neatly transition is like an unbreakable rule of modern life. But this age, now deeply ingrained in our collective consciousness, isn't some ancient decree. It largely emerged from a very specific point in history, the United States Social Security Act of 1935. Before that, formal, government-mandated retirement ages were rare. People simply worked as long as their bodies or circumstances allowed. Consider the landscape of the early 20th century. Most jobs were physically demanding. Factories, farms, mines, these environments wore people down. Diseases were more prevalent, and life expectancy significantly shorter than today. For many, reaching 65 and good enough health to continue working was less of an expectation and more of a luxury. The average American man in 1900, for instance, lived only to about 47. Even by the 1930s, life expectancy hovered around 60. So, when policymakers settled on 65 as the age for full benefits, it wasn't because it represented a universal capacity to work or the end of a typical lifespan. It was an economic calculation, a political compromise designed to make the new social safety net financially viable at its inception. It was an age where many wouldn't even live to collect, and for those who did, the remaining years were often few. The system was never designed for universal, decades-long retirements. The work until 65 concept, then, is less a reflection of human biology or capability, and more a legacy of a specific government program, one created in a very different world. Homeownership Axioms. The idea of owning a home often comes with a powerful sense of security, a personal landmark. We picture growing equity, a place to call our own, a steady investment. But beyond the mortgage payment and the allure of a title deed, lie essential, unstated truths about what it truly means to be a homeowner. These are practical realities that shape financial futures and daily lives. One primary axiom: a house is not just an asset, it is a constant companion of ongoing responsibility. The mortgage payment is merely the entry fee. Property taxes rise. Insurance premiums adjust. Maintenance demands attention, from a leaky faucet to an aging roof. These aren't one-time expenses, but a continuous financial outflow, often unpredictable, always present. Another crucial truth acknowledges that while a home can be an investment, its value is rarely linear. Market forces, interest rates, and local development all play roles, sometimes boosting equity, other times stalling it. The popular wisdom of buy low, sell high often clashes with life changes, forcing sales during less advantageous periods. Homeownership, then, transforms from a simple transaction into a profound, ongoing commitment of time, money, and emotional energy. It's a journey defined not just by what you gain, but by what you consistently contribute. Understanding these bedrock principles doesn't diminish the dream, it grounds it in reality, preparing you for the full scope of what lies ahead. Your financial reality. For many, personal finance feels like a cold, hard equation: income minus expenses, plus investments, equals prosperity. Simple, right? But this simplified formula often ignores the most powerful variable: you. Your choices, your habits, your deeply ingrained beliefs about money. Consider your monthly statement. It doesn't teach us list transactions, it paints a picture of your daily decisions. The impulse buy, the forgotten subscription, the coffee you grab every morning. Each entry reflects an interaction between your immediate desires and long-term goals. Sometimes these forces align. More often, they clash. This isn't about individual weakness. Our financial reality is shaped by a complex interplay of personal psychology and the world around us. We live in a society constantly nudging us to consume, to keep pace with an ever-moving target of success. Pressure to own the latest gadget, take that aspirational vacation, or maintain a certainty overshadow the disciplined pursuit of genuine financial security. Debt, for instance, isn't always a sign of a responsibility. Sometimes it's a bridge to opportunity, like a mortgage or student loan. Other times, it's a symptom of deeper patterns, a coping mechanism, our response to an emergency, or a slow drift into spending beyond our means. We inherit financial narratives from our families and culture, dictating habits without us realizing it. Understanding your true financial reality means moving beyond the raw numbers. It means looking at the stories those numbers tell, and asking why they unfold the way they do. Only then can we begin to write a different one.